Hello lovely people, I'm Stella from Stella's Yarn Universe. In this video tutorial we will crochet this little sheep. Now before we get started with the project, I'd just like to share a few things with you about the Patreon page that I just launched. You can become my patron by clicking the link in the description box below and joining. You will pay a small monthly fee, for which of course you will get some great perks. Most of the video crochet tutorials that I share on here come with a written pattern in PDF form that includes detailed instructions of the process as well as many step-by-step photos. I sell these PDF patterns on Etsy and Ravelry, and as my patron you will get them for free every time I share a new project, a new video tutorial. You will get the matching PDF pattern for it, as well as the existing PDF patterns for all of my recent projects, and by recent I mean all the way back to sometime in 2022. Instead of listing all of the projects, I'll just blend them in for you right now so you can see what's included. So by joining now, you gain instant access to so many of my existing PDF crochet patterns. But that's not everything. From the second month of your membership, you get a 50% coupon code, so you can save 50% on any of my other crochet patterns that I don't share here on YouTube. And you get a new coupon every month. Plus, you get exclusive voting power, so you decide what I crochet next. So if you want to become a patron, click the link in the description box below to join. I'm so excited to share all of these great perks with you, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting my work and helping me create more crochet patterns. And with that being said, I want to tell all of you, everyone who watches my videos, uses my patterns, shares their beautiful makes, you are all supporting me by just watching, choosing my patterns, spending your time on my channel, liking, sharing, commenting. All of these things mean so much to me, and you are all supporting my work, and I'm eternally grateful for you. And thank you for making time to play and create, and you make the world a brighter place. Sending you all my love. Bye! So if you want to support the channel in this way, I'd be so happy to welcome you in my Yarniverse over on Patreon. And you get the pattern, the PDF pattern for this little sheep, as well as all the other ones mentioned in the clip I just showed you. If you just want the sheep pattern, you can find the links to it in the description box below. And now, without further ado, let's talk about what we need for this little sheep. So I use DK or light worsted weight cotton yarn for the legs and the sheep's face. I used an off-white shade. This is Rico Creative Ricorumi DK. I'm not sure what the shade is called, but it's not the white, but the more creamy white, if that makes sense. And then I also used gray. I believe this is mouse gray. Also, I used this wool yarn. So this is Drops Alpaca and Drops Alpaca Boucle. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. It's Boucle, and that name just refers to the texture of the yarn, of this loopy yarn. So you could use other brands that look like this. I blend in all the information for this yarn, so you can find a similar one if you don't want to use exactly this one. I also used a 2.5 millimeter hook, which is something in between a size B1 and C2. Most of you will be fine with a C2, I believe, if you don't have 2.5 millimeters where you live. But a B1 is useful if you're used to crocheting garments and your stitches are a bit loose for amigurumi. It just helps
to get them a bit tighter. Then I use the yarn needle. I love the ones with the bent tip, and the large-eyed sewing needle for the embroidery. I also used black embroidery floss for the embroidery, and then I also used 5mm safety eyes and pins, 3 stitch markers, and fiber fill. I ran out of fiber fill, so this is just the content of an old IKEA cushion, but it does the job. And I love using these little pliers for the embroidery when the needle gets stuck, and it's also really helpful for filling small body parts with fiber fill. And then we need some scissors. So we'll start with the legs, and so I'll use this gray color here for the hooves. And we begin with a magic ring. So just use your preferred magic ring method. And then we make 8 single crochet in the magic ring. Then we close the magic ring. And in round 2, we single crochet in the back loops of all 8 stitches. So only in the back loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in the last single crochet of the round, we change to white, or whichever color you want to use for the legs. And so I go in the back loop of the last stitch of the round, pick up the gray yarn, pull it through. Then we can fasten the gray yarn off. And now we pick up the white yarn, or whichever color you want to use for the legs, and pull a loop through the 2 gray loops on our hook. And now we can secure the yarn ends by tying them together, the one we just cut off and the new one we just joined. I'll just make a double knot. And that's it. I'll also tighten the magic ring properly now. So this is the hoof done. In round 3, we start with 2 single crochet. So now we crochet in the full stitches in both loops. So this is the first one. Single crochet in the first one and a single crochet in the next one. And then we make a decrease. So here we go in the front loop, or the front loops of the next 2 stitches. Front loop of the next stitch, and we pull our hook down to get in the front loop of the next stitch, and we pick up the yarn, pull it through both front loops. So we have 2 loops on our hook, and then we pick it up again and pull it through the 2 loops. And now we repeat all of this again. 2 single crochet, and a decrease. And now our stitch count is down to 6, and in round 4 we single crochet 1 in each of these 6 stitches. Oops. And that's round 4 done. In round 5 we start with 2 single crochet again. And in the next stitch we increase, so we make 2 single crochet in the same stitch, and then we repeat these steps once again. 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and an increase in the last stitch of the round. So 2 single crochet in here. Now we have 8 stitches in the round, but in the next round we'll decrease them again. So we start once again with 2 single crochet, and then we make a decrease where we just make the increase. So we go again through the front loops of the next 2 stitches to do that. And repeat everything once more. 2 single crochet, and a decrease. And that's round 6 done. In round 7 we once again single crochet in all 6 stitches of the round. And so up to this point the fore and hind legs are crocheted the same way. Now we are crocheting the last round, and for the forelegs we simply make another round of 6 single crochet. And that's round 8 done, and the first foreleg. So now we can fasten off. We don't need a long yarn end here. Maybe I leave it slightly long enough to later close the gaps between the belly and legs. And so we can repeat all of these steps to crochet the other foreleg, and then you can repeat almost all of the steps, rounds 1 to 7, and we can together crochet the last round, round 8, for the hind legs. Now for the hind legs, we crochet round 8 this way. We start again with 2 single crochet, then we make an increase in the 3rd stitch, and then we repeat all of these steps once more. 2 single crochet, and an increase in the last stitch. And then we can fasten off and crochet another hind leg just like this one. So now the 2 forelegs and 2 hind legs are done. I'm just setting them aside for now because first we will crochet the belly. And for the belly, I'm using the 2 drops yarns, the Boucle and the other wool yarn. And I'm going to use them held together. So I'll hold them together like this. And then make a little loop. And now we make 6 chains. And then we make 4 single crochet, starting in the 2nd chain from the hook, which is this one here. So it's a little harder to see the chains now, but it should be possible. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we make 4 single crochet in the last chain here. 1, 2, and then I turn my work to make the other 2 in the same chain, but from the other side, holding these yarn ends out of the way. So 3 and 4. Next, we will make 3 single crochet in the other side of the chains. And this is now really tricky to see, but the good thing is if you don't make it in the precise spot where it's meant to go, it doesn't matter. It won't be noticeable, so don't worry too much about it. So next we have 3 single crochet in the other side of the chain. So the next one goes on the opposite side of this single crochet here. Here you can see the little V shape, and goes opposite that one. That's 1. Then the next one goes in the next spot here. 2, and the next one in this little opening there. 3, and now we have the other side of the first single crochet here left, somewhere there, and in there we will make 3 single crochet. So 3 single crochet in the same spot. And that's the first round of the belly done. So we start round 2 with an increase. So here you might be able to see the first stitch. Again, if it doesn't go exactly in the stitch, it's not a big problem. So we have 2 single crochet in here. Then we have 3 single crochet, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. And then we have 4 increases in a row. So 2 single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. That's 1 increase. Two, three, and 4. Then we have 3 single crochet, and then we finish the round with 3 increases. And that's the round done. Now we have a stitch count of 22. Now in round 3, we will join the legs. So I have them ready over here. But first we start with 8 single crochet in the belly. And that's 8. So now we can crochet the left foreleg on. So we just pick one of the 2 forelegs, and here where we have the color change, that marks the back of the leg, and the opposite side the front. And so we want the legs to go on like this, so that the hooves are pointing in this direction, which is the front, and the other side is going to be the back of the sheep. So in order for the leg or the hoof to point forward, I'm going to start crocheting the leg on in the second stitch of the round. So here you can see the last stitch, and then 1, 2, that's where I start crocheting. And then we make 6 single crochet all around the foreleg. Once you crocheted in the last stitch of the round, you can pull this yarn in tight to close any gaps. And that's the last single crochet in the leg. And then we have 2 single crochet in the belly. And that's the first leg crocheted on. Before we crochet on the second one, we can just check and make sure that the hoof is pointing forward, and this is looking good. So now we can take the other foreleg, and with this one again I start crocheting in the second stitch of the round here, and then we single crochet in all 6 stitches. And pull the end tight. And a single crochet in the last stitch of the leg. And then we make 9 single crochet in the belly. And if all went well, there should be 3 stitches left in the round. If not, then maybe here you crocheted in one of the stitches that already was crocheted in. Don't worry too much about it. I think with this fluffy yarn, it's not too noticeable. So now we can crochet the hind legs on. And so again, the color change marks the back of the leg. Now this time we want the hoof to be facing to the right because we're now on the other side of the sheep. So in this direction. So I will start crocheting the leg on the inner side here. And I'm going for the increase here in the second single crochet of the increase. So in here, that's where I start crocheting around the leg, and then we make 8 single crochet all around. And once you crochet in the last stitch of the round of the leg, you can again pull the yarn in tight. I have 3 more single crochet now. And that's 8. So then we make 2 single crochet in the belly. So this one is already crocheted in. This here is the next. One and 2. Then checking how the leg looks. I think that's more or less pointing in the right direction. So now we can crochet on the last leg. And so now we are again on the other side of the sheep. So the inner leg will be on the other side. And so here I'm going to start crocheting in the first of the two single crochet of the first of the two single crochet of the last increase here. So not the last stitch, the one before that. And then again we have 8 single crochet all around the hind leg. And pull the yarn end tight after crocheting in the last stitch of the leg. And that's 8. So now we only have 1 stitch left, the one with the stitch marker in, and that's where we make our final single crochet of the round. And let's see, that leg is looking all right as well. So now our round has 50 stitches, all the legs are crocheted on, and now we continue crocheting the body. So we start the next round with the decrease. So going through the next 2 front loops and crocheting them together. Then we have 4 single crochet. Then another decrease. And now we single crochet in the next 14 stitches. Seven and 8 go here in between the 2 forelegs. Then we have a decrease. Now here it's very easy to miss the first stitch that we want to decrease, which is this one here. Then we have 4 single crochet. And another decrease. Then we have 8 single crochet. Here again, it's difficult to miss one. The first one just went in the last stitch of the belly, and the second one goes in the first stitch of the leg. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we have 2 decreases. So the first stitch that we decrease is the last one of the leg here. That leads to the leg. That's 1 decrease and another one. Now here the first one to decrease is in the belly and the second one is the first in the next leg. And now we should have 8 stitches left in which we make 8 single crochet. So now we have a stitch count of 44. The next round starts with a decrease again. Then we have 3 single crochet. And another decrease. Then we make 12 single crochet. Then we have another decrease. 3 single crochet. And a decrease. Then we have 8 single crochet. And a decrease. And then we finish with 8 single crochet. So now our round has 39 stitches, and in the next 3 rounds we single crochet 1 in each of them. So you can pause the video here and hit play once you crochet 3 rounds of 39 single crochet. Now I finished my 3 rounds of 39 single crochet, and in the next round we will crochet the opening for the neck. And so before we start, we want to find the 8 center front stitches. So this here is the back side of the sheep and this is the front. And so we want to mark the 8 stitches that face the front of the sheep. And so I'm just taking 2 stitch markers. I can see my stitches fairly easily. I hope you can too. So here I would say is the center point, the center front. So I'm counting 4 stitches to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this here would be the first of the 8. So my first stitch marker goes in here. And then from there I count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is where the second stitch marker goes. So now we can take a final look to make sure that these 8 stitches are in the center front. So looks good to me. So now we can crochet the next round and sew however many stitches we have left to the first stitch marker. That's how many we will crochet. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get there. So now we don't crochet in the marked stitches. Instead, we make 5 chains here. And then we crochet in the stitch right next to the left of the second stitch marker here. So we make a single crochet in there. And now we have made the opening for the neck. So this should now be in the center front. And we can remove the stitch markers. And to finish the round, we just crochet in the remaining stitches of the round, however many you have left now. So I finished the round, and in the next round we start with a decrease. Then we have 3 single crochet. And another decrease. Now I reached the 5 chains here. If you haven't, you can just make an extra single crochet or however many you have left to get to the chain of 5 here. The only important thing is that we make 6 decreases in this round and that they are more or less evenly distributed, but don't worry too much about exactly where they go. So once you reach these 5 chains here, you can make 1 single crochet in each of them. So we just go in the back loop. We want to keep the front loop of the chains, the front loops of the chains, to later crochet the neck out of. So I'm just making 1 single crochet in each chain. Once we have these 5 single crochet, we continue with a decrease and then 3 single crochet, and then we repeat these steps 2 more times, a decrease and 3 single crochet, once more, a decrease and 3 single crochet. So now I have 3 decreases on this side and 2 on this side. The first one went into the first stitch here, so then that's why I want the last 3 stitches to be single crochet, 1 2 3, and then the 2 stitches before I will crochet together to make a decrease. So I will make as many as needed to get to the ones I want to decrease. So that looks like they are 1 2 3 4. Decrease, and then single crochet in the last 3 stitches. So now we have 3 decreases on each side and 30 stitches in the round, and that's all that matters. So in this round we start with 3 single crochet, and then we make a decrease. And we repeat this 5 more times, 6 times in total. So you can pause the video here and finish the round in your own time. Now we have a stitch count of 24, and it's a good time to fill our little sheep with fiber fill. Of course, we can always add more through the neck opening here, but I'd like to start filling already, just because now it's easier. And in the next round we continue decreasing, so now we start with 2 single crochet, and then we make a decrease, and once again we repeat this 5 times, 6 times all together, and you can pause the video to do this in your own time. And now our stitch count is down to 18, and we can add more fiber fill to the body. And in the next round, we start with 1 single crochet, and then we make a decrease, and we repeat this 6 times all together again. So once again, you can pause the video. Our round has 12 stitches now, and in the last round of the body, we make 6 decreases in a row. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's it. Now we can fasten off. And I'm going to thread both yarn ends on my yarn needle and go through the front loop of each of the 6 stitches. And pull, not too tight if you're using wool because it can break easily. This should be enough. And now we go through the center of the last round, somewhere to the side of the body or the belly. Just make the back look a bit more even. And then we can weave in this yarn end. And cut it short. And that's the body of our little sheep done. So now we can crochet the neck. For the neck, we also use the 2 wool yarns combined. And so here at the opening, you can see the first stitch, which is this one here. And we join the yarn now in the stitch next to it that already is crocheted in this one here. So the one right next to it. I'm just pulling both these yarns through. I just hold the ends in place with my middle finger here. And now we start by making 1 single crochet in each of these 8 skipped stitches, starting with the first one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So next we crochet in this stitch right next to the one we just crocheted in, the one that we joined the yarn in on the other side. So it's this one here that already has a single crochet in it. We just go through that one again and make one single crochet. So now we crochet in the other side of these 5 chains that we made to create the neck opening. It's very difficult to see where to actually crochet in. I'm more or less guessing. So don't worry too much about it. What's important is that we make 5 single crochet from here to here. So I'm just starting here. That's 1, 2, 3. So this should now be more or less the center of the back, which seems right. 4, and 5. And then we make the last single crochet in the stitch here where we first joined the yarn. And that's it. So now we have a round of 15 single crochet, and I'll place my stitch marker in the last stitch. In the next round, we single crochet in all 15 stitches. We can actually hide this yarn end inside the neck now. In round 3 of the neck, we make 3 single crochet, and then we make a decrease. And we repeat this 2 more times, 3 single crochet, and a decrease. And once more. That's 3 single crochet and the decrease. So now our round has 12 stitches, and in the next round we single crochet 1 in each of them. So that's done. The last round of 12 single crochet is complete. So here we can fasten off, and this time I'm leaving a long yarn end, about 30 centimeters or 12 inches, because we will use it for sewing later. And then we're going to fill the neck with fiber fill. I love using these mini pliers. If you have any like this, they're for jewelry making. They come in really handy for filling smaller, more narrow body parts. And that's the neck done. Now we can crochet the head. I'm using the white cotton yarn for the head. Before we start, we need to set aside the strands for the eyelids so that we have them ready when we need them. I'm making them about 20 centimeters, 8 inches long, maybe a little longer. So one for each eye, and they go to the side. We start the head by making a magic ring, so just use your preferred magic ring method. And in round 1, we make 6 single crochet in the magic ring. And then we can place the stitch marker in the first stitch to make it easier to crochet in it for round 2 before we close the magic ring. Once it's closed, we can remove it again. And so round 2 starts with an increase. So we make 2 single crochet in the first stitch. Let's do that again. There we go. That's 1 increase done, and a single crochet in the next stitch. And then we repeat this 2 more times. 1 single crochet. Oh, sorry, 1 increase and 1 single crochet, and once more 1 increase and 1 single crochet. Now our round has 9 stitches, and in round 3 we single crochet 1 in each of them. That's round 3 done. Then in round 4 we continue increasing. So once again we start with an increase. And then we make 2 single crochet. And we repeat this 2 more times. One increase. And 2 single crochet. And 1 increase. And 2 single crochet. Now our round has 12 stitches, and in the next round we single crochet 1 in each of them. That's the round complete. In the next round we start with an increase again, and then we make 3 single crochet. And we repeat this 2 more times. 1 increase, and 3 single crochet. One increase, and 3 single crochet. Now our round has 15 stitches, and in the next round we continue increasing. So now we start with 2 single crochet. Then we make an increase. Then we have a 4 single crochet. And an increase. Again, 4 single crochet. And an increase. And then we single crochet in the remaining 2 stitches of the round. So now our round has 18 stitches, and in the next 2 rounds we single crochet 1 in each of them. So you can pause the video here and hit play once you completed the next 2 rounds of 18 single crochet. Now I placed a stitch marker in the loop here to secure my last stitch, because now is a good time to embroider the nose and mouth of the sheep. And so I cut a 30 centimeter 12-inch long piece of black embroidery floss, and now I'm using my large-eyed sewing needle, that's a pointy one, to embroider the nose and mouth. So we just thread it on our needle. So when it comes to embroidery, it's best to not stitch through in between stitches, but it's better to stitch through the fibers of the yarn so that you have more control over where the stitch goes. Otherwise there's too much wiggle room, and you won't have as much control over the stitch placement. So it doesn't really matter what side of the head is the top. There's no difference really. So I'm just going to treat this side as the top. And so now I'm going to the inside of the head. And now near the center of the last round, I'm starting with my embroidery, but I don't go through the center, because then, like I said, there's too much wiggle room. So I try to go a little higher, and this way I stitch through the fibers and have more control over the placement of the stitch, and the thread won't have any space to wiggle around. So now just pull it through and leave a long enough end here to tie together in the end. So I'm going to make a little V shape now for the nose. So I'll just make a small stitch, only about as long as the single crochet here. So I'm going through here and to the center point again, where I just went through. It's quite difficult to get the needle through. If you have pliers, it helps pulling it through. But if you don't, or if it seems too dangerous, you can also just go through to the inside of the head again. That's already difficult enough. But then you don't have to go through 2 layers at the same time. And that should make pulling the needle through a little bit easier. I'll still use my pliers. If you do lots of embroidery like this, pliers like this one are a good investment. So that's one side of the V. Now I'm doing the other side. So going through somewhere here. Again, not in between stitches, but through the fibers of the yarn, and then again through the center point. And that's the little V done. Now I'm going slightly underneath the center point, because now we're making the little bridge between nose and mouth. So that's how it looks from the side. And again through the center point. And now we have a little epsilon. Now I'm going to embroider the mouth. So for this, I'm aiming for someplace here in the second round of the head. And it's kind of underneath the corner of the nose, but a bit more outward. So the mouth will be a bit wider than the nose. And then we go through the new center point, which is this one here, the bottom of the epsilon. And that's one side done. And now I'm trying to mirror this on the other side. So slightly wider than the nose. Maybe a little further down. Or not. Let's see how this looks. You can always undo a stitch if it doesn't look right. I think that will be fine. Now we go through the center point here, the center of the mouth. And that's it. That's the nose and mouth done. You can repeat all of the stitches or just the ones of the nose to make it a bit bolder. I think I'm going to leave it at that. So then we can just tie the thread ends together and then hide them inside the head. I just push the knot down as far as possible with my finger. And another knot. There we go. And all of this can now serve as filling for the nose. And then we can insert the safety eyes. I'm going to insert the safety eyes in between rounds 7 and 8. So we have made 9 rounds so far. So this would be round 7 and this would be round 8. I already made a little space where I think I'm going to place the eyes. I carefully made it with my scissors to just push the stitches apart so that I can insert the safety eyes more easily. So let's see how this will look. But so far I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches space in between eyes. So let's see if that actually looks how I imagined it. Yeah, I think that's a good placement. So then we can, before we secure the safety eyes, give the little sheep some eyelids. And so for this, I'm using my yarn needle and the 2 yarn strands that we set aside earlier. So I want them to kind of go around this side of the eye. So I'm going through the outer corner of the eye from the inside out. And then not really the inner corner of the eye, but kind of the top corner here. So somewhere near the eye, I'll just go through there. Wherever I can get the needle in. So that's looking good. And then I just repeat this stitch once more, going through the corner of the eye and the same spot near the inner corner of the eye. And that's how it looks. I love when the animals get their facial expression. That's when the fun really starts to me. So then we can tie these ends together to secure them. And now I'm going to secure the safety eye. So you just want to be careful that the yarn doesn't go underneath the safety eye and get stuck there. So be careful when securing the eye. But that seemed to have worked nicely. So now you can repeat these steps for the other eye. So the other eye is done now. So before we continue crocheting, we can hide all these yarn ends. This is another reason why I love these pliers, because they help fill small body parts to make sure that the head holds its shape. It's important that there's fiber fill everywhere in between and around the eyes. The nose should be properly filled first. So I'll add a little bit more and then we can do the rest later. This should be enough for now. So let's continue crocheting the head. Place the stitch marker in the last stitch. And now with the first stitch of round 10, we change back to the wool yarn. So the Boucle yarn and the other wool yarn combined. So I have them ready there. So I go through the next stitch, pick up the white cotton yarn, pull it through, drop it, and now I'm joining the two wool yarns held together. Pull them through the two loops, and here I fasten off the white cotton yarn. So now we can continue with the two wool yarns. And in this round we just have 18 single crochet again. We already made the first one. So now we just single crochet in the remaining 17 stitches. And that's the round complete. Now we can tie these ends together and hide them inside the head. I'll use my trusted pliers again. In the next round we start decreasing, so we make one single crochet and a decrease, and we repeat this 5 more times, 6 times altogether. One single crochet and a decrease. Let's do that again. There we go. 4 more times. And that's the round done. So now is the last opportunity to fill the head with fiber fill. So let's do that before crocheting the last round. And that's done. And so in the last round we make 6 decreases in a row. And that was the last one, so now we can fasten off. And thread both yarn ends on the yarn needle. And now we go through the front loops of all 6 stitches, as we did for the back. And pull, but carefully, not too tightly with the wool. And then we go through the center of this last round. And I'll just go through the bottom of the head here where the neck will go to start weaving the yarn end in. It will be covered by the neck anyway. Oh, I love that face. Weave that in. And cut it short. So let's crochet the ears now. I'm using the white cotton yarn for the ears, and we make a little loop on our hook and then 4 chains. Then we'll make a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook, and a double crochet in the next chain, and a double crochet in the last chain. And that's it. That's the ear done already, so we can fasten off, leaving the long end yarn enough to sew the ear on. And then we repeat all of these steps to make the second ear. When we sew them on, we will pinch them together at the base like this. For the tail, using the 2 wool yarns combined again. So again, we make a loop. And now 5 chains. And then we make a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. And 1 double crochet in each of the 3 remaining chains. And that's it. And we fasten off, leaving the yarn ends long enough for sewing. So that's the tail done. Now we can assemble our little sheep. So let's start with the ears. Like I mentioned, we pinch them together at the base. And I place them somewhere in between the cotton and the wool part. Let's see, I think more or less on eye level. Just pin them in place. Once you're happy with the placement, you can thread one of the yarn ends on your yarn needle, and I'll just go through the head and then back forward through the base of the ear. And then again through the head. And through the base of the ear, and we want the base of the ear pinched together, so I'll go through the corner now, and then through the same spot of the head where I just went through, just to bring the two corners, lower corners of the ear closer together, and another one through the ear, and then I'll weave in this yarn end, and I'll use the other yarn end to do the rest. Just weave this one in first. That short. Now I'm threading the other yarn end on my needle. And I just want to again bring that corner closer together to the other base corner of the ear, so I'm making another stitch through the head and pull that tight, and that's looking good now. So just a final stitch through the ear, and then I weave in this yarn end as well and cut it short, and then I repeat these steps with the other ear. So the head is now complete, and so we can sew it on the body or the neck. I'm just making sure to align the back of the head with the back of the neck and have the head forward facing. Just put in 2 pins. And just check from different angles how it looks. And then we can thread these yarn ends on our yarn needle. So I'm going this way around. And I'll just make a stitch through the head as close to the neck as possible. Yeah, maybe the pins should go to the side. There we go. And then I'm going through either the same or the next stitch of the neck, whatever seems better. You don't want the stitches to be too big, so sometimes I go through the same stitch multiple times. Then find a small stitch near the neck and the head, go through there. And now through the next stitch of the neck from the outside inward. And again through the head. Just trying to make the stitches small. We can remove this one already. And once in a while I just check and make sure that the head is still in the right position. So I let you get on with it in your own time. You can pause the video here and hit play once you've sewn all around the head, all around the neck, I should say. So once the head is sewn on all around, you can either do another round if you feel like it needs to be attached more firmly, but I think for me it's attached well enough, so I just started weaving in the yarn ends just somewhere on the fluffy wool part here. And then we can cut it short. So now all that's left to do is attach the tail. So I think I might attach it with the wrong side facing outward because I want it to point downward, and that happens more naturally this way. Also, this part is so cute and fluffy. So I'll just pin it in place so that the base of the tail is aligned with the back and also nice and centered. I think that looks okay. And then I'll just start with one side, just thread these two ends on the yarn needle. And then I'll just go through the body, making a small stitch. Oops, that caught a bit of the tip of the tail. Just going to rethread them real quickly, and now I'll go back through the base of the tail, pull that tight, and then go through the body again and through the base of the tail. And the body, and once more through the base of the tail. I reach the other side now, and again going through the body. Whoop. And now I'll just weave in these yarn ends somewhere on the belly. Oh, I lost it again. Here we go. And now the other yarn ends. So it's already nicely attached, so I'll just make a stitch through the body and then weave in the yarn end. Yeah, I think that's looking good. If you want, you could if you wanted, you could stitch it down. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, so you could go through the tip of the tail and make a small stitch there. If you always want it to be pointing downwards like this. And then we can go ahead and weave in the last yarn end. And that's the tail attached, and this means our little sheep is complete now. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up for me and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you haven't already, so you won't miss any of my future crochet tutorials. And I would like to remind you again of my Patreon page. If you would like the PDF pattern with written instructions for the sheep and many step-by-step photos, you can download that on my Patreon page. And there are also I think already about 17 existing PDF patterns from my for my previous projects ready waiting for you to download. And you also gain early access to future video tutorials, and you get to vote for which projects I do next. And from the second month of your subscription, you get a 50% discount for all my paid patterns that you can use as much as you like. So thank you very much for checking that out. And thank you for crocheting along with me. I'm so happy to have you here. And I can't wait for the next one. See you there. Bye.